Hi, my name is April Marbury, and I will be discussing our thesis or claim. Nuclear energy should not be accepted because of its difficulty to set up, its harmful effects to the environment, as well as its harmful effects to humans, and lastly, because it is created from a non-renewable resource.
Hello, my name is Todd McDougall, and in 1789, a German chemist named Martin Klaproth discovered a new element called uranium, named after the planet Uranus. Ever since this discovery, many people have created things that we use today. Wilhelm Röntgen in 1895 discovered X-rays, and in 1898, Samuel Prescott showed that uranium radiation kills bacteria. Uranium is very versatile and can also be used to make heat and electricity. Even though uranium is very helpful, it can also be very harmful. When contained and controlled properly, the heat and electricity can be used to power a whole region or county. These dangerous/effective processes of making nuclear energy is called nuclear fusion and nuclear fission.
Nuclear energy is energy in the core of an atom. Nuclear energy can be used to make electricity by one of two ways: nuclear fusion and nuclear fission. In nuclear fusion, energy is released when atoms are combined or fused together to form a larger atom. This is how the sun produces energy. In nuclear fission, atoms are split apart to form smaller atoms, releasing energy. And this is what power plants use to produce their energy. From 1895 to 1945, the science of atomic radiation, atomic change, and nuclear fission was developed, more of it being in the last 6 of those years. Over 1939 to 1945, most development was focused on the atomic bomb. From 1945, attention was given to harnessing this energy in a controlled fashion for naval propulsion and making electricity. And since 1956, the prime focus has been on the technological evolution of reliable nuclear power plants.
My name is Akeen Mason Hogans, and I'm going to point out how nuclear power plants are typically hard to set up. The biggest reason why is the cost. When building nuclear plants, governments are forced to pay large sums of taxpayer dollars. In fact, the average investment in nuclear power plant is $9 billion. This is a big reason why third world countries don't have nuclear power plants. They simply do not have the money or the resources to be able to afford them. In 2011, a study was conducted in Georgia and Florida to examine new power plants in those areas and how they progressed. Researchers found out that taxpayers were spending more per kilowatt of energy on nuclear power than any other form of energy, whether it be renewable like biomass or unrenewable such as natural gas. Even if you do find a way to fund these plants, there are many legal problems to work out, and people who usually live near the plant typically protest the project because they do not want this radiation in their backyard. On top of that, construction can take almost a decade to complete. Setting up power plants are definitely a hard task to accomplish.
My name is Jamal Majid, and I'll be explaining how nuclear energy is harmful to not only our environments, but also our bodies. A nuclear power plant creates 20 metric tons of nuclear fuel per year, and if we're talking about every nuclear plant on Earth, we'll be talking about approximately 2,000 metric tons of nuclear fuel a year. The nuclear waste produced from this can pose serious health effects like damaging organ tissue, prodromal syndrome, and bone marrow death. Also, a lot of nuclear waste transmits radiation and thermal pollution while destroying the environment, then eventually consuming every compartment that still holds it. Nuclear energy is very dangerous, and being that as humans we haven't been able to dispose of it properly makes it even worse.
My name is Christian Newell. Nuclear energy is very harmful to the human body. Most people believe that since nuclear energy is invisible, that it's harmless, but it is still very dangerous to our body. It takes one incident to release a large amount of radioactive material that can affect the environment badly for a long period of time. In 1999, there was a level 4 incident in Japan, which caused the death of 3 co-workers in a power plant. 56 other co-workers got exposed to high-level radiation within the power plant. The accident occurred from too much uranium added to the precipitation tank at work. 21 civilians outside the power plant was also exposed to high-level dose of radiation. Residents within 1,000 feet had to evacuate for a month in the area.
My name is Taylor Marsh, and I'm here to discuss why nuclear energy is a non-renewable resource. Nuclear energy comes from uranium. Unlike fossil fuel, uranium can only be found in certain regions of the world, making it a limited resource. Uranium is extracted by mining, meaning that once uranium is gone, all of the nuclear energy will be gone, rendering all nuclear power plants useless, leaving behind all the radioactive byproduct from the fission process.
I am Keshana McDougall, and I will be discussing the importance of nuclear energy. I would like for the audience to accept and to gravitate the knowledge and the power of nuclear energy. The reality is that humans require energy. We need energy for heat, to cook, for transportation, and to run all of our technological equipment. So producing energy, it is absolutely necessary. Right now, about 86% of the energy used commercially in the United States comes from fossil fuels. These fuels are very harmful to the environment and dangerous to work with. For example, mining coal is very destructive, causing extreme damage to ecosystems and producing toxic wastes that contaminate our water supplies. The burning of fossil fuels produces air pollution, including large quantities of CO2, which is a major concern because of its role in global warming. The use of fossil fuels as an energy source is also very inefficient, with most of the energy present in the fuel being wasted as heat rather than turned into usable energy.
In conclusion, nuclear energy is bad for the economy and the environment for various reasons. It costs around $2 to $4 billion per unit to build a nuclear energy plant. Depending on the levels of radiation, nuclear energy can be disposed of in landfills, or due to higher levels of radiation, it has to be disposed of underground or underneath water. In result of storing nuclear waste underwater, eutrophication occurs, which causes death in the aquatic life from lack of oxygen. Nuclear fuels are also non-renewable energy resources, which means it is a resource that can only be used once. As expressed, nuclear waste remains radioactive and is hazardous to health for thousands of years. Due to these reasons, the use of nuclear energy is very dangerous and needs to be put to an end.